So, you're talking about that cop talking about, hey, I'm going to find you tonight, come here, or whatever. What ends up happening?
Nothing. I just kind of like, he came into the unit or whatever, but I made myself to where I was always around somebody, and I kind of just started like, how you kind of just put a wall up and I don't make eye contact. I just tried to stay away from him. And after a little while, I guess he kind of got the hint. I don't know if somebody said something to him or maybe communicated with him about, look, you need to be careful because I didn't feel comfortable at all. You know, I was afraid. I really was because anything he says, they're going to believe what he says. So I need to just stay my ass away from him.
Are there chicks in there banging cops? I mean,
Oh my God. Yeah. Getting pregnant and all of it. Yeah.
are they like falling in love with these dudes? Are the dudes falling
Oh,
in love with
listen,
them?
some of them, the police just left their job and went and had a full blown relationship when they got out of prison. Yeah. Yeah.
What are they doing? I mean, as far as like, are they paying at first? What are they paying? Like, how's that work? Because people are interested in this stuff.
Okay. So I've known many girls that have had officers put money on their books. And in my mind, it's like, look, you just prostituting yourself out. You know what I mean? Like you're just giving it up and they're paying you. And they do it like they have their sugar daddies in there and they sleep with these men. They sleep with these men and they get paid for it and it's crazy, but some of them really do like have a relationship. You see it. I've seen many officers get walked off. We've had a warden get walked off before, you know what I'm saying, for some, I mean, not to be with a woman, but it wound up that, and I'm sure you probably could look, maybe you can Google this and look it up, but
At
um
Dublin?
what.
One at Dublin?
No, it was in Tallahassee. There was another one at Tallahassee. It wound up that supposedly, of course, this is of course inmate.com, what they call it, that him and his partner, who was a male, wound up date raping a local college student at one of the prison parties, like all the staff parties. Yeah, so there's some real dirty shit that goes on in there. I mean, the staff, the men were real. Yeah, I mean, the girls are sleeping with them. The girls are getting pregnant. I mean, you know how many women have gotten pregnant and yeah, crazy.
What are they paying them though? Like how much? I mean, are they bringing shit in, or is it just always
Oh,
on the
oh yeah.
books?
Oh, perfume. I mean, makeup. But here's the funny part is that I always said to these girls, I said, excuse me for saying this, but you're selling your ass for a compact of makeup. Like, is it that serious? Perfume? Because in there, it's like you're doing a long time. Contraband is like, oh my God, all the girls want is, they want drugs, but they want perfume, they want makeup, they want all the little gadgets, jewelry. Victoria's Secret panties, one of the biggest things that the girls want. For what reason, I have no idea because I couldn't even tell you where they're wearing it or what they're gonna use it for. But yeah, like all that little stuff. I mean, but simple stuff. Like not for nothing, but I'm gonna be honest. If you're doing it, you might as well do it for big. You know what I'm saying? You might as well do it for the real stuff. Like give me some money. Like put some for real. Cash App a family member. Put 5 grand on my shit. You're gonna pay me. You're gonna pay me. But these girls are selling themselves for cheap, and it's like they're prostitutes.
What's the going price that they get cash wise?
Oh God, nothing. A couple $100 on their books here or there.
I mean that in a derogatory way. I mean it in a way where people are interested. They want to know what's going on in there. Are chicks really doing this? Does it happen a lot? I mean, we had that big thing going on. I think it was at Dublin where dude ends up going to prison, and that was part of what they just did with the U.S. Sentencing Commission amendments. That if you were assaulted by a staff member, it's directed towards what happened over there. That you can ask for a compassionate release. That the judge can take that into consideration. So this stuff is happening a lot more than people think, right?
Yeah, and a lot of it is the girls are setting the officers up too. You got the girls that they're looking to catch a case, and I mean, I've known females who have told me, look, I'm going to find somebody and I'm going to catch a case and I'm going to get out of prison. And there's been women that have had some type of intercourse with the officers and have actually, I'm just going to put it plain, saved their semen. You know what I'm saying? And have said, look, he me or whatever. And, they've caught cases and that they actually get paid on it. These women get paid.
I was going there, but you took me there first, so it kind of messed up where I was going, but it's all good. That's another thing that I do want to talk about because you see this stuff in the news, but you say they're going to catch a case. Tell the people what you mean. Are they trying to benefit financially? Are they trying to use that to be like, yo, I got 20 years. I'm about to say, dude did this. I'm going to tell on him, testify on him, and I'm going to get out of here.
Yeah, and that's what they think. And the funny thing is when I first started my time, it was frequent. A lot of the girls were trying; they were trying hard. But I don't know if it's not as well, it wasn't as common towards the end of my incarceration when it came to them going home, because I don't know if it's because the government is really catching on to the girls and what they're doing, or excuse me, if someone's speaking up about it, but you know, they're in essentially what they're doing is they're luring the men in, trying to catch, trying to get, it's called a PREA, Prison Elimination Act. And it's a PREA case. And what they do is they scream victim, and the staff is they automatically, get penalized for it. So because basically we lose our rights in prison. So we are actually victims. We're treated as kind of like children. You know what I'm saying? Like we are off limits. You do not touch them, and the law is very serious. It's a violation if you do. We
Pretty
lose
much,
all our
there's no
rights.
consensual sex in federal prison. It's a felony if you do this.
Yes, even if let's say me and somebody are having a relationship in prison, if we get caught, it's an automatic PREA charge, and we can get actually we may get sex offender charges because there's no consensual sex in prison. And then what happens is when you leave, if they are serious, it depends on what they caught you doing. You may even have to what's that word? Say like you're a sex offender, where you have to like you know file for that.
I know what you're talking about. And
Yeah, it's
I'm sure the viewers do too. So
yeah,
you could be in prison with a chick doing your thing. The
yeah,
cops catch you, and now
yeah.
they're like, okay, now they can charge you. They can actually charge you with street charges. They could charge you, internally, which they do.
Mm.
What happens when the cops catch you guys? What do they do? Do they usually bang you up, or they're like, yo, yeah,
It
I
depends.
can
It
use
depends
this to
on
go
what
piss you off if you don't. You know what I mean?
it depends on what officer you get. It depends. If he's cool and they're or she is cool and they're laid back and they're like, look, come on, man, listen, get your crap together. You know what I'm saying? Like for real. Or they're, I mean, it just depends. It depends on who you get, because you got your staff in there that are like RoboCops, and I mean, they're literally doing their job exactly what they were hired for. Or you got the police in there that are more just laid back, like, man, look, we know you're doing your time. It's a no-brainer. You know what I'm saying? Everybody knows you're in a relationship. Just come on, get your shit together. Like, come on, like. So it just really depends on who you're getting. But you will go to the shoe. And what happens is they take you and they separate you. They separate you and they send you to two different prisons.
I mean, you've never got caught, right?
I'm just gonna say that I, I I just got very lucky. I'm just gonna say that.
That's kind of where I was going. I mean, you say you got lucky, but I mean, maybe you got lucky twice. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I'm joking. I shouldn't joke like that. It's supposed to be a serious, interview. Um, but did the cops ever try to like be like, yo, I'm gonna cut you some slack, or were they like, yo, you got to look out?
Yeah, no, they were just like, look, they didn't catch. I didn't get caught, but it was more of like after the fact, like when they kind of were just like, what the going on here? And I'm not gonna lie, 2 minutes before it would have been over. It would have been over.
So what about the chicks though? Are they gossiping about each other? It's like, oh, she's with so and so, and they leave this
Ugh,
girl and end up with that girl.
it's disgusting. I'm gonna tell you something. It is nothing but one big STD infestation in there. Okay, when I tell you they're jumping from, it's like, and that was the one thing that turned me off from the beginning. Like everybody would be like, oh yeah, everybody, oh, you're gonna get in a relationship. No, I'm not. I want no parts of this. It was, to me, I'm looking around like, hell, I'm coming into prison clean. I'm not walking out with herpes or I don't want anything. I want to walk out clean. But they did. Tallahassee was one of the highest rate of HIV um cases in all of the female prisons. And that's when I was there, they used to tell us that when we used to go into medical. That's what they said, because everybody's just sleeping with everybody. When I went up to Danbury, it was a small unit, and when I got transferred up there, not the camp, I was at the camp for the last year, but when I was in the other place, the FSL, it was, I mean, when I tell you, it was like they were jumping from one person to the next. And it was literally like nobody had less than probably like five partners there. And it was just constant because they were all, and you don't leave from this unit all day. There's, anywhere from, I don't know, 100 to 200 women there on any given time, depending on the time, whatever time it was. But it was crazy. Like they're all sleeping with each other, and it's like they're just swapping, and it's disgusting. It's really terrible. It really is. It's a complete turnoff.
Were you up there with Martha Stewart?
No, I wasn't. Martha Stewart was in Alderson. I was there with oh, you know who I was locked up with actually? JT from City Girls down in Tallahassee.
Oh,
Um,
the rap group City Girls.
yes, yeah, City Girls. I was with JT down there in Tallahassee. Who else? Um, and when I went to the camp, the girl who made Orange is the New Black? So that's the camp I was at. People knew her, you know what I'm saying? When I got there, I didn't know her personally, but there was a couple people. There was some, there was a somebody who, oh, I'm not going to say her name because I don't want to embarrass her, and she's living a real private life now. But there's somebody who did a long time, 30 years. That was a very, very famous person that I did. She was my bunkie for many years, but she's good people. I don't want to put her out there and embarrass her. She's trying to live a quiet life. But yeah, there was some pretty big people that I was there with.
Let me stop you for a minute. The girl that did 30 years, was she from New York? The older lady?
No, not New York. Mm-mm.
Because there was an older lady that actually killed her husband, and she got out on compassionate release, and she spent like 30 something years in there. And it's everybody.
Which one?
I can't remember her name off the top of my head, but maybe after I'll find it. I can find
Yeah,
it.
you tell me because I'm telling you, if I probably know her. Was it DeLuca? Elisa DeLuca?
No, it was an old lady, man, that she was an old woman now. Old Jewish lady ended up killing her husband with an axe or something. But I'll find it and then I'll tell you.
Okay.
Let me ask you this, right? We'll get back to the reality of this. You're sitting in prison, you're doing all this time. Of course, you guys have relationships. I mean, does it comfort you to have relationships like that? Does it make you feel like, damn, I'm not alone?
I'm going to tell you, for 9 years, I didn't. I did my time alone for 9 years. I had nobody in my life. I didn't want anybody in my life. It wasn't something that I was interested in. I was trying to fix me. I've been through so much that I wanted to focus on Stephanie. And, a lot of people go in and they look right away to escape their reality. And what they do is they jump into a relationship, but it wasn't something I had planned. It was never on my agenda. It just happened. But yes, I'm going to tell you, Chad, it was one of the most loneliest times of my life. I'm not going to lie. Like, I internalize, my emotions, and I've had to stuff my emotions for many years. So whether it's anger, whether it's frustration, a lot of it comes out in tears because you don't know how to process. You can't, from being in there, you have to live in your mind. And so living in your mind can become so heavy. So my way of processing was, when I tell you, I used to cry myself to sleep nights. Nobody knew. I'd be under those covers, or I'd go in that shower and I would just break. And I was very alone for many years. It is very comforting to have people in your life, but I learned the hard way, and I was very cautious with who I let come in my circle. And I didn't maybe had one person, two people. I dealt with everybody because I worked out. I was like a mentor. I taught people. I taught in school. I taught in classes in the chapel, but I never really got close to anybody until, that one person who I had met. But yeah, it was very lonely. It's very agonizing internally, especially for a woman. Women deal with things differently than men do.
Let me ask you this, right? When you're sitting in there, what were some of the most loneliest times for Stephanie?
Christmas. Christmas, it was always my favorite. Christmas to me was always, we didn't have nothing growing up. My family was just my parents were very poor, and we grew up. Christmas was so special because we did the Italian seven fish dinner, on Christmas Eve. And my mom, even if it was small.
I'm married to an Italian girl, so go
So
ahead.
there you go. So, yeah. So even if it was like a pack of socks, if 6 socks came in, my mother would wrap one individually. You know what I'm saying? So it looked like we had a lot of things. But I'll never forget growing up, the music. My mom would play music, the smells of the home, and it was just my favorite time of year. And every year it would come around, and I would go into a depression from Thanksgiving all the way, and I would just beg God to push me through this new year, because I knew once it was over, a new year would start. My birthday and Christmas were the two hardest times for me. Also, I had lost family members when I was in there. The pain of not knowing that when I come home they're going to be gone, or you know not being able to take part in milestones of, my brother had 2 children when I was gone. And he's the only one out of the siblings that has children.
I ask you about that. That's I'm going there with that. I think earlier you said you're 38 years old, right?
Yes.
You get out of prison, you have no children.
Hmm.
When you were in prison, did you ever think about that? Like, wow, I'm gonna, my biological clock, I may never have kids. Did you want to have kids? Did you, because that's something that I used to think about in prison. I used to be like, damn, I'm never gonna have kids. I'm never gonna have a normal life. And sometimes my heart would start beating, and I'd think like, damn, man. And the older I got, I'm like, damn, I remember being 38, 39, and like, damn, man, I'm 40, man. It's over with, man. I'm never gonna have a normal life. Did you experience that type of thing as well?
Oh yeah, when I had gotten sentenced, and I thought to myself, when I calculated in my brain 144 months, and I'm like, Oh my God, and of course I'm in my 20s and I'm like, I thought to myself it was the end of the world. I said, I'm going to come out of prison when I'm almost 39 years old. My life is over. Oh my God. And so here's the thing, like I thought to myself, when I was younger, when I was with my ex-husband, I did get pregnant one time and I miscarried and I lost the child. But ever since then, I never got pregnant again. It was a godsend, not that it was good, but in a way it was good because I would have been attached to that for the rest of my life. But I thought over the years, like, yes, I did want children. But then as I kept getting further along in my incarceration, I realized that from the age of 18 to 28, I was trapped in this marriage. Then from 28 to 38, so you're talking 20-year span of I don't even know who I am. I learned who Stephanie was little by little while being incarcerated because when you're in a box and you have only to look at yourself in the mirror and face yourself, you better learn who you are and you better learn what you want in life. So over the years, like I realized that I took care of my ex-husband like he was a grown man, a child. I took care of his children who were in my life. I was a mother to his children, a somewhat of a mother figure, to his kids. I don't want it to, I don't want to take care of anybody anymore. Did I miss that opportunity in my life where, okay, yeah, had I had children, I would have been happy. Yes, I would have been thankful and grateful for them. But at this point in my life, I want to live for me. I've never traveled. I was incarcerated for a 20-year span in two different ways. I have nothing. I want to build my life. I want to build a foundation and I want to do something with my life. And I just want peace. So do I regret the fact that I didn't have children? Yes. Do I miss out on that? Like, yeah, I do miss out on that. That is one of my regrets in life. But also, too, I never got to live my life. I missed out on my 20s and my 30s, Chad. So you're talking a long time to where I never traveled. I never been anywhere. So yeah, I did think about that a lot. And it's very painful in a way. I deal with that differently. But also too, I'm also at a point where I'm grateful because I have a second chance and I have no debt. I got no burdens. Let me tell you something. My credit's great. I'm doing good things. So I have good things to look forward to where it balances out where I did miss out on that opportunity.
I mean, that's just the reality. I want some of these younger, women that are watching this or teenage girls that are, 18, 19, caught up in that life to realize all the things that you lose, all the things that you miss, the Christmases, the birthdays, never being able to have children, possibly if they come in at 45, 50 years old,
Yeah.
and that's the reality. That's what it's really about. Your ex-husband, tell the people how much time he ended up getting.
He got 37 years. He got 37. His brother got uh 29, I believe. And then the person who actually was the shooter got 45.
And this was all for some gang stuff that they're probably not even involved in anymore, right?
No, it actually wound up, it was a bar fight. Like I said, it was over a bar fight over something so stupid and nothing that these lives were. And I think about it today, like, because I'm in a whole different place and I've had to face my responsibilities and of course take responsibility for my actions and my non-actions. And I look at this and the regrets that I have, and I think to myself, two lives were lost for what? For nothing. Like you have a mothers and family members and children that are missing their loved ones and can never get them back because of what? Because of some dumb, stupid decision where you think you can make a choice over someone else's life. I mean, really, in all reality, was it even worth it? No, it wasn't, because so many people are now agonizing and in pain and have been through so much that it caused more hurt and pain in the world than it would have been than to just move on and say, you know what? You know what? You got that one. Why? Because over pride.
Lost lives in so many ways, right, Stephanie? The people
Yeah,
that get buried, the people that get buried in prison, just lost lives, right?
it's sad. Yeah, it was really sad.
How many women you seen in there with life sentences?
Whew, God, I don't even know. Too many to count. Too many to count.
Ever with Alice Johnson, the African
Yeah,
American?
I was. Yes, Miss Alice. Yeah, I was. I was with a lot of the ladies. Those were like the Danbury ladies. That when I was in MDC Brooklyn, they had shut down Danbury. They were transitioning from a female to a men's prison, and they moved them all over. So I met a lot of the women there. The old school women who did life and who had a long time to do. Yeah.
How about Michelle West? She's serving life.
I know Michelle West. Yeah. I mean, of course, I'm not close or I'm not in communication with her, but yeah, Michelle West. A lot of them. Let's see. Andrea. Let me see. What's her name?
How about Tanya Johnson Hiles? Serving life.
Tanya was one of my good friends. Tanya was one of my greatest sisters. Let me tell you something. Her and I were like this.
I'm doing her compassionate release. It's done. I just finished it this morning.
Are you serious? Let me tell you something. I promise you. And you know what's crazy is that her and I had a little falling out before I left. There was just a little bit of a disagreement, and
Her? Can you see that picture?
that's that right there. Yes. Wait, so she's in Carswell. Let me say something. When you talk to her, please do me a favor. You let her know that you spoke to me, and you tell her that I send my love for real. I mean, maybe I'll even, but yeah, I knew her. I was very close with her. Very,
I'll do
very
it.
close.
I'll do it today. I feel very bad for her. I want people to know who she is. She's serving a
She,
life sentence.
I
She was
know she is.
involved in a conspiracy to commit murder. She
Yeah.
didn't do anything. She didn't commit the murder. She didn't pull the trigger, and she has a life sentence. So any of these young girls that are watching, her husband was involved in the drug game, petty drug dealer. Next thing you know, they're all serving a life sentence, and she
Yeah.
could have been a death penalty case as well.
Yeah, she did. And that's why her and I were so close because we really clicked in a way where we could understand each other. When I tell you she became my prayer partner, we went through it together. We really did. We played, I mean, we worked out together. We were on that weight pile in Tallahassee. We used to get it. She's good people, man. And I pray that you could do something for her. Because she really deserves it. She got kids, she's a good mom, she just has a great heart, and she's just a sweet, sweet woman. She really is.
There's four kids that grew up without a mom, without a
I
mom.
know. I know. And it's sad. It's terrible. It breaks my heart because I miss her very much. I do.
This is the reality of federal prison. This is the reality of, sometimes being involved with the wrong people, being involved in the wrong things. You can end up with life. You can end up with 12 years. You can end up with 20 years, 30 years, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God. And it's crazy because they have such control over the situation. You're sitting, I sat in pretrial for 2.5 years, and you're sitting there and in your mind, every time you go to court, I went every 3 to 6 months. And you go to court, there's no updates. You're nothing. Like you're just literally like you're like this piece of paper, like you're easily torn up and thrown away. And your life is nothing. So you're looking at it and you're going and you're like, oh my God, lethal injection. Oh my God, I'm gonna die. And it's like, they're just like, oh, put it on the calendar for another 6 months. And you're like, so the agonizing, when I tell you I aged, Chad, and I'm sure you can, understand this, I aged. I'm 38 years old. I'm going to be 39 in May, but my mentality is beyond like women my age are a lot more immature compared to where my mind is because I had to mentally age. I had to put myself in a place where, I had no choice but to keep my mind in a place where if I didn't keep it right, I would have lost it. So yeah, man, it's crazy.
Listen, before we get ready to go, right? I mean, I think we had a good conversation, very intelligent. I mean, if you're an intelligent young lady, I mean, it's obvious people that are going to watch are going to be like, yeah, she's intelligent. Probably one of, if not the most intelligent woman that I've ever interviewed on the channel.
Thank
Um,
you.
and I wish the best for you. I want things to work out for you. But before we go, what message would you give to some young girl that's caught up in New York City or in Chicago or in Houston or in LA involved in gang violence or, her boyfriend's that dude or thinks he's that dude. He's a petty drug dealer, but, they're out there, talking about doing this and doing that. What advice would you give to someone like that or to your younger self?
Run. Just turn away from it. Go. And it's hard because you're caught in a place where you're like, sometimes it's all and it's the only people you have. But when I tell you, you're worth more than anything you could ever imagine. Your value, you were created to do good things. We weren't put on this earth to create destruction. And when you create destruction or you're involved with it, it comes back in your life, and it could come back, and it could take a long time to come back, but it's going to come back and it's going to hurt. But you're valuable. If nobody ever told them, or if whoever's listening to this, if nobody ever told you that you're valued and you're beautiful, there's parts of you on the inside that you have talents, you have things inside of you that you can do and you can utilize, and you have to find them. Don't keep yourself in a lessened position or a lower place mentally and emotionally because you think that's all you deserve. You may not have had a good life, but you can change it. You have the ability to do something. You're going to have to fight through it. I fought my way through my incarceration. I educated myself. I found the way to get more education because I wanted to walk out better than the way I walked in. You may be in a broken place right now, but you don't have to stay there. And there's people that will help you. Not everybody will care, but you may find one person, you pray or whatever you believe in, or however you want to, bring good energy to yourself, put it out in that universe and make it happen because you can be better. You don't have to stay in the same place because you can change. And if you think that you can change him or the people that you're around and make them better, I want to tell you something. nobody will change until they're ready. So it's like, and I'm going to give you this example, and I know we have to go, but it's like climbing up a mountain. And if you're attached to my hand, Chad, and I'm climbing up a mountain, and you pull me back. I'm trying to climb higher. You got more strength over me to pull me down because I'm coming on I'm on an uphill climb. So my leverage is less than yours. So I'm gonna fall backwards. So if you're hanging out with people where you're trying to go up and they're trying to stay in the same place, they're gonna pull you back down because you're not strong enough yet. You're not in a place where you're on stable ground. And until you get to that point and you learn boundaries and you learn how to say no, no is a complete sentence. You can make a change and you have to decide for yourself, but you have to do it. And if you don't, your life can really take a turn for the worse. It's either now or never.
Well, listen, I definitely appreciate that message. I mean, you know what? I don't think I ever heard anyone say that. No is a complete sentence. Get out of the way.
Yeah.
This isn't really the life that you want. And I
No.
think that's kind of what the message is. If, you start to fall and you're falling down, I mean, if these people are falling down, then you don't want to fall with them, right?
No, because you're gonna fall and you may not get up.
You fall in it. You may be like Latanya, Tanya Johnson Hiles. She
Yeah.
fell. She got a life sentence. She's struggling to get up. She's been in there, I think, over 20 years. People like Miss Alice, sentenced to life. Took her 20-something years before Trump ended up releasing her from prison. But anyway, listen, Steph, I definitely appreciate you coming on. Appreciate you sharing your stories, your experiences. And like I said, very intelligent young lady. I want to see you do great things with your life, and I believe that you will. Obviously, very intelligent. So
Thank
again,
you.
thank you. Hopefully, you put a YouTube channel together, and if I can help guide you, I promise to do so. I'm promising that publicly. But listen, I wish the best for you. I'll tell people, man, if you like what we're doing over here, hit that like button, hit that share button. Blood on the Razor Wire TV. Until tomorrow, with respect, we're out.